Today I want to talk about how do you practically go from working a typical 6 to 3 or 9 to 5 construction job, or honestly any 9 to 5 job, and transition at a young age, right, at least for me it was, into a high ticket sales career, or any kind of career where you are pretty much very business oriented, and you're either earning money based on your free time, your commission only, or your freelancing. So the way this is going to work is, number one, I want you to realize there are going to be three very important steps. And you have to pretty much stay for the last one, because this is how you actually, I kind of explained to you, how do you make it all work, right? How do you actually put that final piece in place to make sure that you actually can leave your job behind once and for all, right? Let's start off with the first step, and something that everybody has to drill into their mind. You need money first, right? Before you even think about quitting, you need cash. Sales specifically is a high reward, but also high risk, right? You don't want to go broke before you even get good, right? You want to make sure you do a couple of things, and this is really what I think makes this important. Number one, you want to track your expenses and make sure that you earn more than you spend. For some of you, you're thinking, oh my God, I got to start tracking my expenses. Who are you? Dave Ramsey? Yes, I am Dave Ramsey. If you practically want to leave the 9 to 5 and you're dying at your job, you've had that hard conversation, you want to make a change, start to track your expenses, right? Be real with yourself, man. Right? Next is going to be save aggressively. Cut the unnecessary spending, right? Live below your means. I'm sorry, but some of you guys are living, lives that you frankly cannot afford. Sometimes I'm guilty of this too. We all are, right? But if you're ever going to start to save up a safety net, this way you can go ahead and leave the job, which is what you need to do eventually, right? You need to save money. So this is, oftentimes everyone's thinking, how do I make more? How do I make more? It's not about how do you make more, it's how do you spend less. What can you sometimes sell around the house? What can you do on the weekend? Like, how do you earn more money while also spending less? That's going to be what's most important, right? A good goal I want you guys to have is have about 3 to 6 months, right, saved up of expenses, right? That's your runway. That's your safety net. That's really going to help you with step 3, but as well as step 2, right? Now you've gone ahead and you've got your job, you've got some time that you commit every single day to it, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever. Now I want you to focus on step 2, right? Learn the skill while you're still at work, while you're still in construction, right? Most people fail because they don't use their hours off wisely, right? They go ahead and they play video games, they go ahead and they daydream, they go ahead and see friends and drink and waste their money and time on the weekend getting hammered, right, and spending a day or two recovering. That is not how you're going to retire your mom. That is not how you're going to take care of your sisters or your brothers. That's not how you're going to build a life with your girlfriend or wife or build a future family. It's going to be with sacrifice and sitting down and doing the boring work. And that means developing a skill. Now, the number one skill I can highly recommend anybody who can actually communicate, someone who can speak like a normal person, is sales. By far, all day long. I can talk about it and not stop. Sales is the number one skill I can recommend all of you. And the number one reason why is you write your own check, right? But also forces you to be a better person, right? And it actually puts some fire under your butt, right? To go ahead and earn more, right? You can earn as much as you want. But that aside, you could do copywriting, you could do Amazon FBA, it could be a business, doesn't matter. I recommend the ones that don't cost too much money, though. Like, sales doesn't cost you much, right? You go ahead and you commit to a skill and you start to make time for it, and you don't have much time. You're probably going to have anywhere between 1 to maybe at the max 5 hours a day. Hopefully you have the weekends too. Because you don't have 8, 10, 12 hours to go through trial and error, to watch every video, to study all day, to practice, to role play, to do whatever, you need to make the most of those hours. I personally credit the majority of my success to my commitment, to my hard work, right, to my consistency. But the one thing I can never forget about is my mentorship. It's my coaches, the people who have taught me the skill that I can now lean back on, and I can say is being able to help provide for my family, right? Allowing me to go to Miami this past week, allowing me to level up every single day. It's from my mentors, my coaches. They allowed me to take the 2 hours I had after work working as an elevator mechanic and electrician, and consistently watch myself progress up until a point where I could do step 3, which I'll talk about in a second, right? I really want you guys to make a schedule for yourself, and yes, investing money is important into mentorship, but even more important and even more expensive is investing your time, right? You watching this video right now, you better be taking notes, right? Go back if you haven't, go take notes, watch this on 2x if you have to, but I recommend keeping on 1x so you can really hear what I'm saying, right? And go and implement what I'm telling you. You need to make sure every single day you've got consistent time to put into this, right? Jim Rohn and others have said this. Neville Goddard, I believe. Repetition is the master skill, right? If you can repeat something enough times, you will master it, right? But repetition itself and that consistency is the hard part. It's a skill, right? So now you've gone ahead and you have, you've gotten your job, you're making money, right? You're doing this consistently, you built out a resume, but you're also developing a skill online. You've got a mentorship, right? You're learning from others. Now, hopefully you've made a couple bucks. Now, hopefully you've made a little bit of progress, which is what's expected. Wait until you actually start to get a little bit of progress. And once you do, once you realize and you can taste the success, you can taste yourself going all in. And you have examples of people around you in your community, in your program, in your coaching, who have gone all in and who have gotten the results that you're looking for. And you can talk to them and you know them and you know it's real. Get ready for step 3. That's right. It's time to take the leap. I'm going to tell you right now, you will never be 100% ready. Never. Right? But the second you're starting to make some money, and the second you know you've got a bit of money saved up, right, and you can survive, I'm telling you right now, jump, because that is a sign. The sign that is scary is a sign that you should jump, right? That is how you truly differentiate yourself from the thousands of other guys who are in your exact situation who don't jump. I remember when I first quit my first job. It was me working as a drywall guy, and I went to go work high-rise electrical. I was scared because I was like, oh, we'll see how long I last, whatever. I'm making a big shift. I had a pretty good job, and I hated it. For 3 months I worked there, but they did not fire me. In fact, they were not even close. I went ahead and 1 week and I told my boss I quit because I had spent months trying to find a sponsorship to the next job, which was low-rise electrical in the union, which was my goal, being in the union, not being low-rise. I tried really hard for another 3-4 months to switch into commercial, but I couldn't. It was really hard, and I could have tried, I could have kept going, but I realized that beyond being an electrician, there's a higher paying trade. So once again, I did the scariest thing ever, and after months of working part-time, after work as a construction worker, as an electrician, after work I'd go and do more construction at an elevator mechanic company in the workshop, right? I'd go ahead and do that. And what ended up happening was I quit that job to go ahead and work as an elevator mechanic, right? And you're kind of thinking, wow, you've quit 3 jobs now, you're on the 4th job. What are you trying to tell me? I'm telling you, none of the times I was ready. None of the times I was super confident. Every single time I had so many doubts, but thank God I did it. Because if I didn't, I would not be here right now. And the final time I quit my job was in 2024. It was the middle of February, where I had listened to an Alex Hormozy video where he talked about memento mori and how we're all going to die, no one's going to remember you, and I realized it's true, and I'm living this one life, let me do it. Let me do it! I was already doing sales, I was a part of mentorship, I had made a couple of sales, and my boss, I was expecting him to be at the workshop after I finished, but he wasn't. And it was a Friday, and I was like, I'm quitting, I want to start March. So I went ahead and I called him, and I quit. And 2 weeks later, the very start of March, which is about to be in about 1 week from now, I'll officially be 1 full year into high-ticket sales, full-time, right? I made the scariest decision of my life with, so far, the biggest payoff I've ever seen. Now, I want you guys to take that leap, and there's one more bonus, right? Besides all this motivation, woo-wah stuff I'm telling you, I didn't go ahead and just give it my all. I mean, frankly, I was on a contract that wasn't the world's best, and I also wasn't the world's best closer either. So I went ahead and I did something that was very smart. I'm proud of myself for doing it. I mean, I went ahead and I joined a Discord where I was getting UGC contracts and I was getting paid out on PayPal and whatnot, allegedly. And I was doing UGC, I was doing street interviews, I was doing promotion of different products for DTC brands, e-commerce brands pretty much. I was finding a way to make money, and I was making at least about $2,000, $2,500 a month doing that. Online. And besides that, I was making at least another $1.5K, $1,000 a month, probably a bit more than that, working at a restaurant. So I got a part-time job, I strut on it, I was all confident. I worked at a really nice, pretty premium restaurant, and went through 3 interviews, but I had confidence from the second I stepped foot in there. I met like 3 or 4 employees before I even got my first interview. I was just, as they say, rizzing everybody up. I was flirting it up, and yeah, I got that job. I helped myself survive, because my bills were higher than the money I was making with sales. But I had UGC and I had work as a part-time, you know, waiter, or like I was a busser. And actually quitting that job was very scary, because like when things finally started to pick up with sales, but like I didn't know, that was one of the scary. So I quit, I think, close to like 4 or 5 jobs in my life within the span of like a year or two. But that's the point, guys, right? Really, the way you go ahead and do this is, number one, you make sure you've got a job that pays you. You're good. You're making money consistently, right? Then you save it. You get yourself 3 to 6 months of savings, and you pick a skill and you stick to it for at least 6 to 12 months. You get a mentor. You invest in coaching. You take it seriously, right? And once you start to finally see and taste what's possible when you go full time, and you realize it's real, you take the leap, because you'll never be 100% ready. Not in a month, not in a year. Nothing will truly be different. The only difference might be you save up a bit more money. And if that's the only reason you're doing it, then look, if you've got 7 months or 8 months of savings, you're just procrastinating, right? And that's really it. I wish sometimes I could go ahead and talk to my older or younger self, and be like, hey man, everything's going to be okay, because I dealt with a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. I mean, I never met anybody who had done what I'm doing right now. I didn't know if it was possible. I just had a dream. Like, I was in construction. I can't believe, I still thinking about it now, like, I can't believe I got to where I'm at. I was genuinely, like, guys, I was on a subway about 2 years, like, I'm almost getting teary-eyed thinking about it. Like, I was on a subway 2 years ago, just like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., like, stress out of my mind, thinking I was going to do it forever. Like, that is terrifying. And I had no clue how to get to anything. I didn't know about sales. I didn't know about business, really. I started to read a couple of books, and like reading Think and Grow Rich, Atomic Habits, Man's Search for Meaning, The Way of the Superior Man, I think is called. Those books really built a foundation, and I had started to learn things in it, and then I watched YouTube videos and this and that, and tried drop shipping, and I tried personal branding, which I'm doing now. I didn't quit. And I really went hard in sales. I'm going hard now. I'm investing into myself again. Another coaching program I'm buying. I just came back from Miami, and I realized there's wealth everywhere, and you do not have to be some kind of god to get it. So guys, I know there's a lot. I hope there's a lot of really good actionables. This is a more like tactical video. That was more practical. So if you're in a spot where you're thinking about it, man, I promise you will not regret it. Right? Maybe it's not going to be your first or second or third try where everything works perfectly. I had to go through 4 9-to-5 jobs until I finally had the balls to go ahead and quit and go all in on some kind of side hustle, which turned into now my full-time career. Right? I'm sure in the future there will be more cases like that. But if you truly want better for yourself and your family, and you believe deep down in your heart that it's something you can achieve, maybe not tomorrow, but eventually, I challenge you to do it. I challenge you right here on this random YouTube video from someone who you've probably never seen before. I challenge you to go ahead and do it. Because if I don't, maybe you won't challenge yourself. Right? Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you had some good takeaways. If you enjoyed this video whatsoever, I mean, it helps me a lot when you subscribe and like. Feel free to comment as well if you got any questions or anything like that. But otherwise, no obligation to do anything, no pressure. I'm happy you guys get to get value from this and watch my videos. I'll be posting on Instagram real soon and more on TikTok. And guys, once again, appreciate you so much. I'll catch you in the next one.